Hey guys, how's everybody doing out there? Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. Man, this market's making me angry. I was just looking at my balance in the old model portfolio, and it's eh, good thing I bought ATTR. It'd be doing really bad, but I didn't get enough ATTR. Anyway, it's not looking great over my model. ATTR is looking good. Anyway, let's see what's going on with the broader market. Looks like last time I checked, the index was down more than 1%. That's not good at all. And this is particularly not good. Well, not that. Well, that's not good either. That's Bitcoin, but that's another story. But this is particularly not good. Look at Bulls trying to put in a bearish inverse. I'm sorry, a bearish engulf, not inverse. But anyways, a bearish engulf sometimes can be a sell signal. I mean, they don't always work, but it's not generally a bullish sign. Maybe it won't actually do it, but it's whenever the body of the candle engulfs the previous candle and it's red, and it closes under the low of the previous candle. So right now it would be a reversal signal for what it's worth. Anyway, whatever. It's just not encouraging. I hate to see that, especially because I chickened out and I didn't take any K gold or K silver off yesterday like I was threatening to do. I should have done it. I should have done it, Marcus. Why didn't you let me do it? Marcus told me not to do it, and that's why I didn't do it. It's Marcus's fault. I'm in at K Sil at like 28. So if I had 56, I could double it, but it's ruined now. I could have sold half and been free money. No risk, but it's ruined now because Marcus talked me out of it. Gosh darn it, Marcus. No, I'm just joking. You have to remember, you aren't really supposed to time the market with these things. These things are paying a big dividend, and I have them on drip. So when they do go down, you get more shares at a lower price. I have to remember too, this isn't a freaking trading portfolio or a hedge fund or whatever. It's an allocation. So anyway. But yeah, bearish inverse on K gold. And we don't look at inverses. We don't look at technicals on that. But anyway, I'm not happy about that. I wish I would have sold some, but who knows? By tomorrow or by next week, it could be back at all-time highs. It's so insane with AI and the demand on silver they're talking about, but maybe we'll take a breather for a while. Who knows? All right, so let's look at the Qs. Yeah, that's just not a great sign, but I mean, but to be fair, 100 ticks. What is that? I don't want to do that. To be fair, though, when this happens, it happened a couple of weeks ago. No, I don't want to upgrade. I just want. All right, there I am. Sorry, my bad. I was trying to get us a little bit more perspective, but we don't need 1 minute charts. How about 30-minute charts? Okay. I love a good 30-minute chart. Okay, and on the 30-minute chart, this is the old, check the prior POC pattern, or it could be. It's a potential setup, kind of like back here. There was a big sell-off and it disappointed in it, but then it's kind of stopped down here and rallied, built a base anyway. Now, but then we made a new high. Maybe this is so some people buy the dip here. We'll see. So that's the Qs. Let's look at the SPYs in this time frame. All right, the SPYs, as far as reverting to mean, have a little bit further to go, if that means anything to you. It's just one of many ways to look at this. This is just the time frame that I keep it on. So in any event, now let's look at Russell. Hey, David, thanks for being here. You commented yesterday, and I said that I thought you might be a first commenter, but I wasn't sure. I thought maybe you've been in here before, maybe a while back. But in any event, thank you for being here again today. Yeah, but I mean, you can look at anytime the market sells off, you can look at it two different ways. That Russell could be just wanting to come back and retest this breakout. This was a big breakout. There's kind of a gap in their chart right here, just as far as volume goes. It just kind of blew through this area. We're right back to that area. Some people use that as a dip buying, and then some people wait for it to come all the way back to POC. But Anyway, we'll see. All right, so let's check the divas. I have a feeling they're, I have a feeling they aren't doing well this morning. But I mean, just based on my experience with the divas, they don't like market sell-offs. They don't take well to them. Market's down, a point and a half. They're going to be down 4 and 5 points, whatever. Well, especially the blocks and ULTI, the two biggest divas. Now, maybe not ULTY. ULTY watches that downside a little better than some of the other divas. But anyway, we'll see what's happening. All bets are off today. So blocks is down 5.3. We'll look at the actual diversified diva spreadsheet here in a second. Now, this chart is with dividends, not reinvested, but this is factoring in dividends. This chart is adjusted for dividends. That's not reinvested though. So now let's look at ULTI. Now, based on experience, ULTI from Rex, not that it's a bad fund necessarily, not for everybody. I don't have any. I'm going to say if blocks is down 5.3 and the market's down a point and a half, market's down a point and a half, blocks is down 5.5, 5.25. This thing is going to be down 6.5 or 7. I hope not. I'm not rooting for it, but let's just based on experience. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, you want to pick up some of that. It's cheaper today by quite a bit than it was yesterday. You can still say dividends reinvested. They made great improvements, or not reinvested, dividends factored in. They made great improvements off their low. As far as your investment goes, you don't have to reinvest it, but if you've at least been taking this and buying other stocks with it or doing something productive with it, you should be all right. You're off your investments off the lows. However, dividends not dividends reinvested, but if you don't factor in dividends, we're still off the lows. Anyway, all right. Now let's look at ULTY. Now, based on experience, market's down a point and a half, blocks is down 5.25. I'm going to say ULTY is down 2.25 or something. I'm about half what blocks should be because of the puts, but it's just a guess. I haven't looked. I really haven't looked this morning. I swear to goodness, I haven't looked. I really haven't. I was working on a video and I had no idea the market was off more than a point. I looked at a chart. I was checking out NLSI's dividend to figure out the dividend rate. And so I looked at a chart and NLSI's bar was like a bearish engulf. And I'm going, oh my gosh, obviously their puts aren't working this morning. But I'm like, if the long short fund is bearish engulfing something and on new lows, and this is on new lows, even factoring in the dividend. Yeah, something's happening. Okay, let's swerve over into the NEOS lane really quick. I computed the dividend. Okay, so 22 cents, 20. Okay, yeah. What did I figure this is going to pay? About 3.5 to $4. So, and it costs 50 initially. So 7-8%. So my first bet remember when I said 5 to 7% and it seemed kind of low? I mean, it looks unfortunately like it's not far off. It looks like it's not going to be really an income fund. Anyway, okay, swerving back over into the divas. NLSI is not a diva. Swerving back into the divas. Alti's doing its Alti deal. It's down half as much as blocks, but it's still down. Okay, now let's look at K-Yield. Now, K-Yield doesn't really use puts, but Howard uses strategy to try to not catch as much downside as the other guys. So I'm going to guess he's down maybe 3.5. 4.5. Howard, what are you doing? Howard, come on, Howard. All right, well, it's not down as much as blocks or ULTI. Okay, so now let's check some of the math divas. Now, the math divas are the ones the math nerd divas are the ones that make money with math more so than switching stocks in and out and flinging options different directions. So that would be QLDY is our number one math nerd diva, and it's an understudy, but it's basically a diva. It's just a math diva, and even it's down 2.3. Okay, now let's see if that's right. Let's see if that's all right, because it usually we expect it to catch the downside of the Qs plus 10 or 20% sometimes. I mean, plus a little bit, especially in a big down move. So let's see what the Qs are down. Yeah, the Qs are down 2%. So to be down 2.3 is totally normal for QLDY. If you don't want that, you definitely don't want this fund, because it's going to outperform on the way down, especially on big down days, but not by a lot. But it's going to be part of the factor. I mean, part of the thing that factors in. However, if you look at its chart, let's look at this one's chart off, or well, that's Q's. Let's look at QLDY's chart off the lows and see how their strategy's been doing. This is what's about. I mean, it's well off. It's well off. I mean, this is the best looking chart of any of the diva. I mean, this one did have a pretty bad one. Hang on. Let's just look at this as far as so. That's, I mean, that's actually probably, I think that's better than any of the divas. QLDY should qualify for divas. It's just a math diva. It's just doing it with math by catching extra upside, and the market goes up 6 times out of 10, and so he gets up anyway. All right. Well, I love QLDY. So other math divas, WPay would be kind of, and by math I mean, based on an index, aren't going to change much. It's just based on, yeah, this one's way down. Okay. But it's based on, it's an understudy. WPay is an understudy. What are other understudies? So this is down 2.8. What do you think WiMAX is down? Probably about 20% less maybe than WPay. So I'm going to say 2.25. 1.9. Okay. WiMAX is well off its lows, but going back towards them, that looks, the WiMAX chart looks a lot worse than the blocks chart. I would a lot rather be invested in blocks than WiMAX, just based on those charts, based on what it's doing. But anyway, I mean, blocks is a good one. Let's look at, I mean, ULTY for now is holding its, its trending up line. Let's see if ULTY, I think, gave up its trending. No, it's holding its trending up line too. This could all just be a big viable dip. Market's just volatile lately. All right, we can talk about some other stuff. Let's actually look at so here's a chart of all the divas. I mean, and here's today's action. Everything, even Chippy's down multiple percentages. LFGY is down 4.4. Even the Qs are down too. So anyway, but you can see as a day, the last day we had that was this bad. It's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks. And then of course back in November we had days like this all the time. In October, or I'm sorry, in early November, and then again in early December, we had a rough little pullback. So hopefully this looks like this, and it's a one-day thing, and it's back up tomorrow. This was the last big scare we got. The market bounced the next day, so we'll see. It looks like this is more scary at this point in the day, but of course this was what it looked like by the end of the day. All right, so that's just visually. I'm a visual guy. I like visual stuff. So visual stuff. Here's all the divas and the understudies. You can see it's the same story with all of them. In the big picture, Chippy, SPY are still above zero. Qs just lost the zero line, and of course, so Qs are down 1.5. QLDY is down 3.28, and that's because of that little bit of extra it gets on down days. So, over an extended up period, it ought to outperform on the upside. So we'll see. We haven't had an extended up period lately, but did QLDY ever get above? It almost got above zero right back here. Oh well, okay. So, and then you can see the usual suspects are down here. The risky ones are, of course, WPay blocks, ULTY, ULTI, and ULT. Those are kind of the risky ones. And then kind of the middle group on risk, GPTY, K-Yield. K-Yield's doing good. Look at K-Yield's down 5.5. It's almost doing as well as the math strategy. Math strategy down 3.2. K-Yield for a while was beating the math strategy. K-Yield's a bullish strategy too. In an extended up market, I bet K-Yield passes on the upside too. So, I mean, anyway, but K-Yield's doing a decent job protecting NAV. I mean, it's hanging in there with GPTY, which is a good fund in my opinion, and has good stocks in it. And I think QLDY is legit, and it's right in the middle of them. So I'm giving that one a pass, or not a pass. I think it's a good fund. All right, so that's that. Let's look over here to, let's look. I thought, what else did I have to show you guys? Can't import right now. Try again later. I was going to try to look at the trades on MEMY. I'm obsessed with that one, but I guess we're having a problem. Oh, yeah, I didn't have a max factor on last night because I fell asleep. So, but I'm sorry. I started. We had a really good late night or a really good afternoon live stream that went kind of long, and then I ate dinner and just laid down and I forgot to take out the trash. I woke up this morning. The trash has already been here. It's a nightmare, and oh my gosh, the trash men have already been here. And anyway, so I promise I'll do a max factor tonight. I was going to do W for Wednesday and just do all the W funds. I thought, I mean, whatever. So maybe we'll do T for Thursday, or I don't know. Maybe I'll do closed in Thursday or whatever. You guys can make requests also. If it was up to me on the max factor, all I want to look at every time is the diversified funds, or the index, SPY-I, QI, JEPQ. I mean, I just like those types of funds, FEPI, whatever, that whole group. But I know you guys likes other ones, so I'm trying to branch out. Hey, Chad. Hey, appreciate you being here, Chad. Did somebody gave me a very generous donation the other day, and I thought it might be you, Chad, but I didn't recognize the email. If it was you, and you don't have to say, thank you. And if it wasn't you, anyway, I thank you to whoever it was. Because it's an email I didn't recognize, but they've given one other time before, and I didn't know last time they gave. So I think it might be Chad for some reason. All right, so let me get this. I hate those. I like the minimal look. That looks so much better to me. Okay, so it was. Okay, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it, bud. But you guys have been generous. I got a very generous donation like the day before, too. And then on the live stream last night, I get like 3 super chats, or they call them super stickers or something. That's amazing. Anyway, I appreciate it. All right, so the content's going to be getting a lot better, and whenever I get tips, it gets me interested, and it makes me make more content. So I have a lot of legit, really good stuff, even without the tips. Even before that, I've been working on some really good content. I promise. Hey, thank you very much. Okay. All right. So, but back to this. Let's look at. Like I say, I feel bad that I monopolized the conversation. All I want to talk about is diversified funds. That's what all the in strategies that I like. So let's just talk. Let's go to. I never know a good way to get to this window. I just hate the way. Let's do it this way. Anyway, I want to go to. I'll do it over here. I want to go to stocktools.app. And we'll check out everything and see what's getting. I mean, there's probably some that are getting hit a lot worse than my index. It's going to be hard to have anything getting hit worse than Alt-I, but maybe a leveraged gold or silver fund might be. I just can't figure out the way to the multiple profiles. I just don't like the way these guys handle them. I guess I just go like that. All right, so stocktools.app. I have an affiliate code here, and I really like this. And we never use. I mean, we need to start using this part is amazing. This guy, he has stuff on here for retire on dividends. Those guys are doing a strategy that is really cool. Anyway, he's made a scanner in here where they can scan for that strategy. I mean, Rob, the guy that made this, when I first talked to him, he said what he was trying to do is he's really trying to put everything that Tasty Trade has inside a Tasty Trade in this. Now, granted, Tasty Trade's free whenever you pay. Go to dashboard. Tasty Trade is free whenever you have an account, but those tools in there, he even has a back tester and stuff in here. So this is trying to be like a Tasty Trade analysis thing for people that don't have Tasty Trade. Look, he has a fire calculator where you can calculate your fire number. Cash secured put. I mean, anyway, you guys probably know about this, but I can't tell you how much I love this. And I'm sorry, we just mainly look at this tool, but this tool is really useful. This tool saves me a lot of time and work on having to do. I'd have to do a spreadsheet on all these, you know, and this is everything you need to know right here. I mean, as far as when you want to start comparing stuff. Anyway, all right. I don't know if this is showing though. Am I showing the screen? Yeah, I am. Okay, good. Just making sure. All right. Yeah, well, sir, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Chad. Damn it, my bad on what was damn it, your bad on? Bought a little blocks. Oh, on the pullback? Yeah. When you show the spreadsheet, oh yeah, okay. So that's a fair thing. And I used to, when I was influencing on the computer, I was a big scanner in because I'm blind as a bat too. And I would routinely scan in right into what I'm looking at. I've ordered a trackpad. I got one, but it didn't work. I got one for free, an old one. And it's a long story, but the Bluetooth was broken. That's why it's free. I found it on Facebook. Somebody's giving away free. I'll get a real one, and man, I'll be able to control the way it looks a lot better. But there's other things I can do too. Other people have made that comment. You can also turn the spreadsheets to bold, and yeah, make them go from 9 font to like an 11 font or something, and that helps too. I'll try to do that as well. Absolutely. Yeah, I hear you on that. I hear you on that. Okay, so, but on this, I don't really have any way. I don't know why the mouse doesn't let you multi-touch. I can do, well, yeah, it's not multi-touch, is it? And this is an Apple mouse. Some Apple mouses have a little multi-touch on them, but there's no way. All I can do is I can double right click, and there's a little, sometimes there's a little zoom that the browser does for you, and sometimes not. Anyway, all right. But on the spreadsheets, yes, I will. And I'm trying not to show spreadsheets anymore. I'm trying to use AI to create front ends for spreadsheets where they're like graphical, like I used to have, you know, on the Divas. But lately that's been broken. We've been looking back at the spreadsheet, but I'll get something better going on that soon, for sure. That is something I've been wondering about too. This we're going to look at 1 month because it was already up. I mean, we might as well, just because I like to talk about Moderna. I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing. Now, granted, Moderna's up 50%. Murray's only up 37%, but still, that's amazing. Look at BTGD. Just had a heck of a month. That's even after today. But here's an example of what I was saying. Everyone says, what do you think about these funds? I love them. But what happens when both go down at the same time? I mean, people think that Alt-E and Alt-I and Alt-Y and blocks and stuff are risky, but these 100% leverage stacked both ways, especially the income ones, because you're also getting some income out of them, are going to be on the riskier side. I got just a starter position. I mean, they scare me a little bit, but I love the concept of them. But they really, I mean, you know, I would feel more comfortable if they had one that was stock and volatility. So it was two things that went opposite directions. But I mean, on Bitcoin and gold, I mean, you could see today they're both down huge, and BTGD's down huge. In fact, and I like BTGD. I like that they're probably the most. I really like what those guys are doing, but I mean, that's the most out there strategy of any of these strategies. And they say because of their constant, I mean, their defense is, whenever I ask them about this, they say, yeah, Max, but what you're missing is we rebalance it every day, sometimes multiple times a day. So, you know, and they say and then they give an example of, you know, well, there was one time, you know, gold was down 20% and Bitcoin and this was only down. So, I mean, so anyway, but it depends a lot on their skill as managers. So I'm definitely interested in it. Definitely have a starter position and definitely want to make it bigger. Anyway, that's BTGD, AMDW, killing it. We know that. GDXY, of course. Okay, let's go to the daily. Let's go to the daily. Screen's frozen. I hope my screen's frozen. I hope the stream isn't frozen also. Anyway, It looks like the stream may be frozen also. Seems like it happens every morning this time because it happened yesterday morning also, it seems like. Remember? And I had to, and I have the freaking router, I have the extender thing right next to me and everything. Sorry about this, guys. Let me go back. Maybe if you guys are still watching, because I can't. Anyway, here. All right, I'm unfrozen on my end. Okay, let's go to days. Let's go to days. But the other side of the stacked ones is, can you imagine having the Bitcoin gold one? Because it wasn't available 6 months ago, a year ago. Back in after the tariffs were called off, I was looking for risk to put on. That's why I put on Alti. I love ULTY, and I bought extra, and I put on other risk assets, GPTY, and I put on GDXY. But if I had been able, if that income stack product was out, where I could have got Bitcoin, because once that was over, I was playing for a Bitcoin rally. I mean, we all were. That's why I got LFGY. One of those stack products. Can you imagine having one of those stack products after the tariffs were called off and running it into the summer like I did, or on into the fall like I did with the start of my Alti position? I mean, that was. I mean, I actually made 20% overall on Alti on that first tranche. I don't know. I'm still not up 20% on Alti, but on the first tranche. So, I mean, that was a heck of a run. But if I would have had another tool, maybe a tool that leveraged Bitcoin and gold, I might have done that instead of, or in addition to. So anyway, it's great. It's great time to have choices. All right. So there's no way on a 1 day basis. Is this right? There's no way this is right. Let's go back to the. Facebook is the one stock in the index that's up. Well, good for Facebook. Does anyone have any Fibby? We never talk about. I'm trying to think if I have any exposure. I mean, does WPay even have a Facebook? Yeah, they have METW. So I used to have exposure through WPay, but I dumped that. I don't have YMAX. Darn it, I missed this one. Wow. That's something else. Now, Tesla was down, right? They were going to open. Yeah, they missed. Okay. Man. All right. Well, it's not all bad news, but all right. Back to the 1 day divas. All right. Yeah, Fibby. Look at Fibby up 5. Facebook's up 7. METW up 8. Facebook's up. I mean, killing it. Good job. Winter's up 3.9. Unfortunately, Fiat's up 3.8. Carvani's up a little bit. Wow. Y triple Q is up 1.4. That's interesting that the REITs are going up at the same time. That's a nice. I mean, I don't know if it always works out like that, but anyway, that's a nice little. Anyway, for whatever reason, RNTY is up today on a day when everything else is pretty much only the inverses and Facebook and Carvana are up. It looks like, and I guess REITs because there's another in IYRI in REIT, right? IYR, huh? FEPI, I love me some FEPI. Now FEPI's probably up because it has Facebook in it, right? I bet it is. I mean, GPTY might also be up because it has Facebook in it, maybe, but no, it's not. It doesn't. RDTY, BNDY, Bondi's up. Apple's up a little bit. Berkshire's up a little bit. Berkshire doesn't have any Facebook. Berkshire has a lot of Apple, and Apple's up. I get. Well, no, Apple's down a little bit, huh? Well, Berkshire has JP Morgan, and JP Morgan's up, right? Don't they have a lot of JP Morgan? So, all right. Well, what do you guys want to talk about, or what else do I have to talk about? I'm trying to think if we have anything else to talk about. My battery's running low over here. But yeah, I'm working on making the station better, and that especially goes for the graphics. And I just got so far behind. It's all I can do to get to the end of the month. But once the end of the month gets passed, I have a bunch of deadlines. But once the new month gets here, then I'm going to build. I'm going to build back. It's going to build back better. We're going to build back better, basically, and we're going to do that on the Diversified Diva spreadsheet. It used to work really nice. It was easy to see, and it was graphical and stuff. It's going to be, I'm going to repair it. It's going to be even better than that. And so anyway, I was just scratching the surface on AI's capabilities. In the past couple of months, when I haven't been doing a lot of influencing, late December and early January, I've been doing a bunch of work with AI and stuff, and there's a bunch of new stuff. And so I think it'll get a lot better. And the graphics and everything will get a lot better. But I'm sympathetic to that. I can't see either. I have bifocals, but anyway, they're on back order, so I'm wearing just readers right now. I had to scoot the computers closer to me because I can't see. But when I have my bifocals, then I can use a little bit bigger desk and sit back. But anyway, all right. Well, yeah, sorry about the no live stream last night. We're gonna definitely have a max factor tonight, and I'll be on at and I'll try to be on at 4 or 5 with the end of the day wrap up, and we'll take a look and see how this ended up. Because I'm a little worried about stuff, but I guess that's why I got ATTR. I actually still have a little bit of cash in the account, and I still have some inverses. So I'll be all right. It's whatever, but it kind of hurts my feelings. Gold's down 1.8, and silver's down that big, and it's bearish engulfing, and I didn't take it because I came that close to selling a little yesterday. It's Marcus's fault. It's Marcus's fault. I mean, even K-Cell's down 4%. Oh my gosh. All right. Whatever. It was up like 8% the other day. Down 4% is nothing. All right, guys. Thank you very much. You guys have a great day. Oh, remember, not financial advice. Check anything you hear here or anywhere else with a licensed financial planner. If you'd like to support the station, you can do so at paypal.me /Max Convexity. I'm also going to get a Cash App just because Chad or somebody asked about it yesterday. It was somebody that gave a super sticker, and I know some people don't do PayPal and would rather do cash. So I'll get a cash thing soon. Anyway, but yeah, thank you so much for that. And then also, don't forget. Gosh darn it! I always forget to take the banner off. I'm the worst multimedia guy. Don't forget, but then it messes up the timing of it. You have to say it right. Oh my gosh, I'm the worst. Okay, so watch this. Hey, and also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you guys. And I will talk to you guys. Yeah, I know it, Marcus. I'll talk to you guys. Okay, now wait a second here. I like that. We're going to suspend the ending for a little bit. DD&Q is only down 87. Now, is that the dual direction? Yeah. Heck yes. Heck yes. I need to make some content on that, but that's such a gimmick. I don't want to get people too excited about that. It's just a buffer fund with just the gimmick of I don't know. I mean, it's cool. I mean, it just what Marcus is talking about really quick, since Marcus brought it up. Marcus's fault, just like me not selling K-Cell. No, I'm just joking. Marcus, I didn't even talk about K-Cell. I was just trying to blame somebody that was in the chat, and there was only 2 people in the chat, and one of them was skeptic. So, but everything. This thing is a fund that's a buffer fund. So, but they have something. They're using a ratio spread on the put side, and so it's a buffer fund. But if some of them have 10% buff and some of them have 15, but it's called a dual direction. So this fund, you're capped on the upside of like 10%. It's just like the buffer fund. You have downside protection. Not only do you have downside protection, if the market's only down 10%, you're actually up 10%. But then if the market's down at 11%, you're down 11%. The buffer starts there, but you're still buffered. You have a 10% head start on the market, just like a 10% buffer. But there's actually an anomaly where you can actually make money. So the market's down 5%. Your fund makes 5% instead of being down 5%. It's a pretty big swing, But then if the market's down 11%, at that point you're down 1%. That's your 10% buffer. You know, you have a 10% buffer just with a little kicker. So it's, you know, it's not really black, because a black swan or something, you're going to be down a lot more. But maybe that's the thing this fund's good for, is days like today when the market sells off, you know, 2 or 3 days in a row, 4 or 5%. This thing will probably go up, or yeah, it might be a nice tactical play. Yeah, I'm glad it's working too. I'm not saying it's not going to work. I'm saying it's so, I don't know. What does Thomas think about it? Or we'll see what Thomas is thinking about whatever. Or was, oh, well, let's look at Or real quick. Yeah, I was going to go because there's nothing else interesting to talk about. But now that you guys brought up interesting stuff, I'll still let you guys go in a second, but let's just see what we're doing. So, oh yeah, Or's the bullish long short. Yes, that's, so what other long, let's see how, I know Thomas is a big fan of this one, CTA. I just wanted to see how they're doing today. That's actually impressive though. I mean, that on a 1 day, I know that they had some other things and there's other ones that are doing better. Let's just run Or against CTA, because CTA's kind of long short, or, well, Or is like long short stock is different than like CTA, but it's a similar philosophy, I guess. Yeah, and ATTR, I know it. And how do you think Chaos is doing? I know it. I'm so glad I got the, I told my brother-in-law, I said, I'm going to start having to get some stuff that's not, it doesn't pay a dividend, but it's just for another purpose. And he's fine with that. You know, we're going to have like 80% in dividend producing stuff. But yeah, 20% in ATTR, Chaos, or something should dampen the downside a bunch. I won't keep it on at all times, but I just don't think this is going to be a good year. Maybe I'm wrong. I just saw somebody make the opposite case. This is fine. It's going to be fine. We have another good year in this. So anyway, I don't know. All right. So, but yeah, Or's impressive. ATTR is impressive. Yeah, Chaos is flat. You know, what I like about, I mean, the thing that I think is most somewhat impressive, well, makes these valuable. And I don't know, like I say, I don't know that a true no bliss tail risk fund is really a true no bleed tail risk fund is really possible at all times or whatever. I mean, it just, but to the extent these guys can, you know, if you allocated your portfolio to this in the April pullback, you know, it went from 88 to 92, so it was up $4 at the height of the April, so at the lows. So that's $4 on 80, well, that's 5%. And say you have 10 or 20% of your portfolio in this, say 20%, like I just said, 20 times 5 is what is that? 1%. But anyway, it's a cushion on all the other stuff that's down, but it's not gonna stop it from going down. But it's interesting that it has the ability to go up, but it doesn't seem to affect the ability for it to still not bleed. And not even not bleed, it looks like it pays about what T-bills pay. And it just has, so this is really interesting to me. This is more interesting to me as a hedge than the dual direction thing. But that's just me. But but anyway, we could talk about the dual direction things. They're definitely cool. All right, Marcus, what are you saying here? These defensive ETFs are worth looking into. That's, check out this, the diversification delusion, why a million stocks won't save you. We've all talked about this a million times before. This isn't going to be anything new to you guys. But anyway, but I'm making a video let's see, anyway, I have a bunch of, I'm talking about that a bunch, about the long short and how to, anyway, watch the video. It should be out soon. I don't know on SanDisk. I usually don't comment on individual stocks or stuff I don't know about. But yeah, I just don't follow. I follow indexes mainly. But man, that's, I mean. So in other words, even if I like SanDisk, what I would do is I would figure out what sector it's in, you know, and what ETFs were tracking it or whatever or something. But anyway, but I mean, here's a really good way to do that. I'm gonna show you guys something. Somebody like me that doesn't like single stocks that much, you can look right here in FinViz, and right here it tells you what it's in. So of course it's in VTI, IVV, SPY, VOO, of course, okay, but it's in VB, Vanguard Small Cap. That's, you know, My dad likes that Vanguard stuff. It's good stuff. State Street Technology, XLK, that's a good one. So what I would do is I might get XLKI because I'm figuring also I don't want to be in one stock, but it looks like that sector is pretty hot. Then SCHA, it's also in the Schwab small cap if you're a Schwab guy. RSP is a good one. That's the equal weight SPY. Of course, it's in there because they're all in there, but it's in there in a lot bigger weight than it is in the cap weighted SPY. I would guess it depends on how big the cap is. I actually don't know. Looks like it's 138 million shares, and it's probably a pretty good sized company. So anyway, I may be wrong about that. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Is I like XLKI. If you like SanDisk, get XLKI. I'm just super rich. I just like to index stuff. Yeah, the preventing of margin calls, the inverse. That's right. The inverse is a drag on your account. I mean, everyone else was up 15%. The highest I was ever up in my model portfolio was 13% at the height this summer. July, Bitcoin was up, market, everything was going great. And I was up 13%, but all of you guys and people that were just tracking indexers, were up a lot more than that. I cost my, if I had just been in, anyway, whatever. And then the defense didn't work great either. Then I still dropped. I mean, even though I was defensive, I still dropped for being up 13%. And I think at the October lows, I was back down to even. I lost all that 13%. Or the worst I got was back down about 1% into the October, November sell-off. So I lost all of that. But had it not been for the inverses, because I have Salty now too. I had Salty up there before, so had it not been for the 5% Salty and like 12% YQQQ, I would have got a margin call because I don't have margin, but it would have been a lot uglier. Yeah. And then, like I say, and then I think for the whole year, I don't think those defend you that well, though. They're just good because they also pay a dividend. Put them on drip, and they're going to, they're not going to be a long-term winner, but they build, I think you can maybe hold them and drip them. I don't know. I mean, they are a drag. They are a drag selectively. So that's why, and I was looking and I'm thinking if the market is really bad this year, like we have a 20 or 30% sell-off, which is what I'm thinking. Or I'm thinking it'll be like 2022. And so if that's my thesis, and I'm thinking a 20% allocation to ATTR. I really wanted chaos, but Marcus did make me get ATTR. Marcus, if chaos does better than ATTR, that is legit Marcus's fault. But no, Marcus studies this stuff more than I do, and I just got a half position. I could always add some chaos or I'm really saving a little bit for some. I have a little bit in cash. I'm really saving a little bit for the no bleed tail risk fund from Tuttle. So we'll find out more about that in about 28 hours. So I know you guys are going to be here. Greg, what are you talking about here? iDevo has a small dip. Yeah, I mean, heck yeah. The small dividend's the key. I mean, I bet we could put up anything with the small. Let's look at JEPI. And I'm just guessing. I bet JEPI's doing just fine today. I'm sure it's doing fine. The dividends a tax on the upside. It's going to be down what the market's going to be down but it's not going to be down like multiples of what the market's going to be down. And look, it might be down what the market's going to be down. But look, it's not. It's only down 0.06. Yeah. What about something like FEPI? You can look at the monthly options and the ones that don't intentionally overpay, or no one intentionally overpays, but when you do weekly and dailies, it just earns anyway. But on the monthlies, it doesn't have as much chance of overpaying. Let's just say. So FEPI's down. It's getting hit at 1.8%. Yeah, that's a market performance. The Q, like Marcus said, the Qs are down 2% at this hour. Yeah, 1.78 even on, and it's bad. But then when you step back and look at it in perspective of the whole thing, I mean, even that November, but basically I went from being up, I was up like 13% actually in August, but then Bitcoin started dropping and I was so heavily levered to Bitcoin through Alti and through blocks and stuff. That was the height of my portfolio. And by mid-November, I went from being up 13, to like down 1 or 2. But anyway, and recently I went back up to being up 10%. I was up 10% yesterday. So things are going well. I mean, I'm not rooting for it to go down. If it goes down, I'll be all right, though. I mean, I'll be all right. All right. This is my thesis: is metals, defense, space stocks, 2026 is top. Yeah, nice thesis. Nice thesis. So yeah. So what I'm looking for, if I would be, if you were like me, and you may be totally different. You have different, risk tolerance or whatever. But the way I would, if that was me thinking that, I would be getting some. I would be looking for those X funds products that are going to be defense. There's already lots of good metals products. You could get the. I mean, so I would be looking for products that are doing cool things with options that in those sectors. Like on metals, you're pretty well covered with one of the income stacking, Bitcoin and gold, because then you also have big, and then on defense you could get there's a defense one coming out from X funds, and there's a nuclear one. Nuclear's going to be big too, but yeah, space. There's ETFs out there that do space. Heck yeah, it's all about themes. And when we get that's a good question to ask Tuttle tomorrow when we get him on. He's big into themes, and I think we'll ask him again what his themes are. I want to say his themes are robotics, automation, but I think he has a space and defense and nuclear thesis also, right? But anyway, yeah, that's yeah, there's an X funds out there that's coming out that's called like defense or something that's going to have like or something like that. And then there's or X funds, yeah. Then there's one called Nukes in UKZ. They filed for it. I bet it'll be out pretty soon. But I think those will be hot. So anyway, all right, yeah. But IDEVO is we can, like I say, this is my big thesis. And there's no free money. So any of these that have if you have one that's paying you a small dividend and it's down big today, sell it. I mean, it's not what it's supposed to do. The tiny dividend ones that pay 5%, they ought to be just fine today because they don't have as much tax on I mean, they're still going to be down because the market's down, but they shouldn't just be down multiples, because they hadn't given away all their upside. Anyway, yeah, you're waiting on Howard for copper. Absolutely. I'm with you on that. I mean, yeah, nukes. I didn't know the symbols. And what's the defense one called? There's a defense one. Isn't there a defense one too? There's a nukes one from X funds, and they have a one that's defense. I think defense contractors are hot because of the forever wars that look like that have always been going on and don't look like they have any, any chance of ending anytime soon. So I think drones and missiles and things that blow up stuff ought to be a hot commodity too, for better or for worse. Unfortunately, for worse. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much. I really will let you guys go this time, barring any last-minute questions. Marcus just mentioned that it's WEPN is the defense one. Oh, and I forgot I left the thing up there. If you're a pro, you've got to take the thing down. It doesn't have any impact. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Don't forget, you can always like and subscribe, and I appreciate it very much. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Talk to you later.